Australia's ban on international travel means it's been almost 2 years since Jill Harris has been back to the UK to see her family.
Oh my goodness me, who's that? He says, who's that?
Instead, her mother's had to get to know 7-month-old Harry through video calls.
We speak to Grandma every day. She doesn't want to miss out on a thing, and she's desperate for a cuddle if we can get home for Christmas.
Ms Harris is hoping to fulfil her mother's Christmas wish, but she's nervous about the flights she's booked home with Qantas.
We just love a bit of certainty as soon as possible.
The problem is, while some airlines are selling overseas flights from mid-December, there is no set date for reopening the international borders. Last week, the Federal Tourism Minister said he hoped they would be open by Christmas at the latest. But airlines want more clarity than that.
We do not know yet where Australians will be allowed to travel.
Singapore Airlines recently cancelled additional flights to Australia because of the ongoing uncertainty, leaving many citizens stranded overseas.
We don't have that clarity around whether international arrival caps will continue to be in place come December, and whether or not or how incoming passengers will be treated and classified.
Before the pandemic, 52 airlines flew to Australia, but now there are only 18. The peak body for international carriers says the confusion could mean some airlines don't rush back.
So if US start to open up a lot more and you can start flying much more to Europe, for example, then guess what? They are just going to take their services over there.
Quarantine is another sticking point, with only South Australia and New South Wales trialling self-isolation at home so far.
Parts of Europe and USA, in terms of the domestic regional travels, are already taking off quite nicely, and because there's no quarantine required.
Jill Harris is prepared to postpone her trip if they have to quarantine in a hotel when they get back.
We just don't think that having Harry will be 10 months old by then in a hotel for 2 weeks would work.
COVID-19 is changing the way we travel.
Then there's the issue of vaccine certificate verification. Passengers will likely be required to declare which jab they've had and take COVID tests.
So you can once again be reunited with family and friends.
Most passengers think it'll be January 2020 all over again, free travel, go wherever you like, no issues, no problems. That is so far from the truth, because there's COVID testing before you leave. There's COVID testing on arrival.
For those who can get overseas, analysts say price gouging is unlikely to happen.
What we're going to see is airlines really putting some attractive pricing out there to get people across the line, to get them to travel internationally.
Airlines want a national approach to restarting overseas travel, but that's unlikely when states like Western Australia, Queensland and Tasmania are already backing away from the plan to reopen borders when 80% of Australians over 16 are fully vaccinated. In Perth, new father Ming Ming Chen and his wife fear it'll be a long time before his family can travel here to meet their daughter. That's because it's unclear if Australia will recognise vaccines like Sinovac.
It's actually created some emotional stress for the whole families. So we have to rely a lot on our friends.
Until then, this is as close as they'll get to their relatives in China.